Right, and good evening, everybody. It's Let's Talk Teaching, and we are here with Rianda and Leandri, myself, Philippa Fabry, and we're talking about goals, growth, and grit. This is our final webinar for this evening, and we're very excited to just go through our years. We've all kind of gone through the year in different parts, different phases, with different things going on in our personal lives, and we've made it to this point. I don't know, Rianda, Leandri, how the year was for you, but for me, I cannot believe that it's already November, right? How did we get?
Goodness, yeah, the time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. No,
Exactly.
it's been crazy, but
One.
always a blessing. We
Yes.
can reach this point of the year and we can unwind approaching December then.
Yes.
We're always
Yes.
blessed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why we decided to talk about goals, growth, and grit, because honestly, as teachers, I think we set goals at the beginning of the year, then things happen and maybe we achieve them, maybe we only achieve one or two, or maybe we don't achieve any. And it's the grit that we need, in order to make it through to the end. So I think we're going to each have a little part to talk about. And then at the end, I'll just summarize everything and also just talk a little bit about education services and what we do. So we're going to jump off the diving board, and Rianda is going to take us through goals.
All right. I think goals is so important because, like I've learned, I joined this podcast of Mel Robbins last year at this time, and I think you can share that link with everyone. It was amazing. That woman is so amazing. But and she said something that stuck with me, and it really made a difference for me as well. She said the difference between a goal and a dream: a goal has a plan of action, otherwise it stays a dream forever. And that was so important to me, that there's a difference, because there's a difference between, oh, I have a dream, I want to go to Greece. But if I don't have a goal, if I don't have a 10-point plan of how to save and how am I going to do it, and then I'm never going to get there, then it's going to stay a dream. So a goal for me is, okay, here's my plan of action. So I also looked around and I found such a nice little tips of how to set a goal, because then the conversation starts about, okay, but how do I do it? How do I set an easy goal for myself? Because I don't want to set myself up for disappointment the whole time. So I found this thing, and it was so nice, and it's easy to remember it if you use the SMART framework. If you look there, you see S stands for specific. Be clear and detailed. What is your goal? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to set up your classroom better? Do you want to go on a holiday? Do you want to have a baby? Or what? If there's a personal goal or a professional goal, it depends on the goal that you want to set for yourself. So be specific, measurable. You can track your progress. Make sure you know, in a month, I want to be there. In 2 months, I want to do this, so that you can track yourself, that you can say and keep yourself accountable for it. Achievable. Make easy goals, realistic for your context. For me, it will be impossible, or not impossible, but very hard to save $1 million a year, because that's very, very difficult for me in the stage where I am now in my life. But for me, it might be a more achievable goal if I say, right, for this year, I want to set and save 10,000 Rand or something like that. Relevant, meaningful to your life. All of our lives are different. All of our lives have different things, different areas. So must be relevant to your life. What do you need? What do you want to achieve in your own personal life? And the last one is time bound. Have a deadline or a time frame. Say, okay, there is a quick, short goal. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And a long-term goal. But have a timeline. In 3 months' time, I want to be able to do this. In 6 months' time, I'm going to be there. That. And like I say, have yourself accountable for that. Another way to do it, you can also break large goals up into weekly or monthly things. for me, sometimes I find it like a mountain in front of me. Oh, I must mark all of these subjects now. Or, oh goodness, I must write reports for all of these. And I know November is my goal. It's my month that I must do it. And then sometimes I've waited and I've never broken it up into smaller pieces, which is much more achievable and much easier to do. So your success rate is much better. I said there, choose one focus area per goal. For instance, your health, finance, career, and your personal growth. You can say it for yourself, right? For the next 3 months, I'm going to focus on my health. For the last 6 months of the year, I'm going to focus on my finances. Give yourself a break and choose one subject, one area which you focus on. And then monthly, review yourself and adjust. Nothing is set in stone. It is a dream and a goal of yourself. So you can change it. It's not, no one is going to come and give you a D. You're not going to fail something. It is for yourself that you can achieve it or not. And you adjust it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do you girls want to jump in and say something before we move to the next slide?
No. Go ahead. We'll save questions for the end, I think.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I found that there are 2 goals to set for me personally. My experience, it's a short-term goal, and I put myself there from 1 to 3 months. And then the next one is a long-term goal where it's maybe 1 year to a month to 6 months or up to a year. But a short-term goal for me, I chose something like improve your daily routine. A simple thing. It's a simple thing that we all can do. It's very achievable. Here's your plan of action, for instance. Wake up at the same time every morning. Plan your top 3 priorities for the day. Think, okay, for this day, I must do 1, 2, and 3. Make a list. Make a tick list for yourself of things that you would like to achieve. And then you tick it off as you go. There is not a more wonderful feeling in the world. If you are able to tick something off your list, it is amazing.
Absolutely.
It gives me hope for the next 10 things that I must do. So for me, that is such a trick to do that. Another goal that can maybe a goal for teachers and for everyone is organize your class better. There's 3 ideas for you. End of the day, pack away all your books. Write the date for the next day already on the board. Put the names of the daily routine on the board already. It is 3 simple things, but you will get in such a good routine, and it's 3 less things that you don't have to do tomorrow morning. So that kind of thing, you can adjust obviously at your classroom, how you can change your own classroom. Another goal, a short-term goal, can be set up a routine at home. Your family is in chaos, the children, the homework, the sport, it's just a lot. So something that you can do there, you really have a need to change and set up a routine. So put up a calendar on the fridge with activities. Print a calendar for yourself from the internet and write everyone's activities, their sports, on that calendar and put a pencil with that. So if something changes, you can write it on. Discuss over dinner your days and discuss for this week, what are we going to do? For this week, what is our plans? Plan a fun activity too and put that on the calendar as well. So it's something to look forward to. It's something that can combine with your financial goal. Every 3 months, you take your family or yourself for a weekend away and you plan for it. And that is such a nice thing for you. Will you achieve your goals so easily with that?
I love that idea.
Yeah. So like
we
I
must
said,
think for ourselves as well.
Yeah. The next one I'm going to talk about is the long-term goals. Now here, for me, there are 2 different long-term goals. You can have 10. You can have as many as, like I said, you change it to fit your life, your personal things. For me, I've put this for 6 to 12 months. You can have it 6 to 24 months. It's up to you. 1 year, 2 years. It's how long, and it depends on the goal that you want to achieve. Financial growth. I think that's something that all of us want to achieve and that we're all struggling with. And
Yeah.
if you're not a CEO or a bookkeeper or something, it's something that we all need to work at. For me, definitely, we all want to be in a better financial position every time, any way we can. The goal, save a specific amount, let's say 10,000 to 20,000 by December for your emergency fund or a personal project you want to do over your bed, your room, or your bathroom, or whatever the goal is, and you need 20,000 Rand for that. There's your plan of action. Set up an automated monthly transfer. Cut off non-essential expenses. Now, this will differ in every household. The difference. You decide what we cannot live without, and how we treat ourselves. But now in 6 months, we want to have a new bathroom. So that will be an amazing treat. So the whole family can work together and cut out non-essentials that we can put into the bathroom fund or the kitchen or wherever that goal is going towards. We all work together to achieve that goal together.
Nice.
Track your savings progress monthly. You can put a calendar up, or let's say this month we saved 5,000 Rand, family. Wonderful. We are closer to our new bathroom or to the shower or that dream holiday in December. Look, we need 50,000. We are there now. So make it visible for your kids, for yourself as well.
I love that.
A picture is amazing motivation. It's so nice.
For sure.
Yes. And number 4, deposit extra money when possible. Now, I don't know if that is ever possible. You
Extra
decide.
money.
Yeah, you decide every month. Listen, I have 10 Rand extra. It's 10 Rand closer. Don't even look at the amount. Look at the extra. Sometimes you will have a lot extra. Sometimes you won't have. You won't. But then there's something that you can work towards for. And then number 5, which for me, I am a picture person. So put up a visible picture of what you want on the fridge, on your room door, anywhere you come, and your whole family. If you're working as a family together or as a team together for that new bathroom or the new room or the new pool or the new holiday that you want to go on in December, whatever the goal was that you as a family chose, put a picture up of Mauritius or Greece or Namibia or wherever you are going, and put all the fun activities, make it realistic. Because if you do that, you can teach your kids so many things with that as well. Another long-term goal can be a personal development, a goal to complete a professional course or a skill upgrade by the end of next year. So, I mean, some of us are planning to study later on, or to study another degree, or you want to do another course in this, but the reality is you need money to do it. You need to plan your time. If you have a family, if you have this, you need to plan it a bit, and where is your plan of action? So number 1, choose a course by February. Keep a progress log or a mini portfolio. Tick for yourself a tick list. In March, you need to do the first thing. In April, there's tasks and things that you must do. Put it up for yourself. Make it visible. Make it accountable to yourself. Study at least 2 hours per week, or how many hours your course will need. So reschedule your house life, your family life, your work. If you are working at full time as well, it will be a juggle. But again, your goal is achievable. And if your goal is visible, and if your goal is put up and for yourself, then that is the goal. That is what you're working for. And then number 4, for me, it's very nice to have a mentor to help and to check in with, to say, listen, I'm very down today. I didn't get to my things, or please help me with a little bit of motivation, or have you done this before? How did you do it? Everyone, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, really. There are people, amazing people out there. I have amazing people in my life that have mentored me and helped me. And it's such a privilege to be a mentor for someone else, that they can ask advice. I believe in that thing of paying it forward, of being helped. When someone say, I need help, help me please. So yeah, for me, the goal is a very practical thing. A 10 action point plan, practical, go into action. Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is so important, is that once you set that goal for yourself, go through those SMART,
Yeah.
make sure that it is specific, it's measurable, it's relevant to you, it's actionable, and it has a time aspect. So you've said there it must be done in 12 months time, or it must be a 6-month goal. So I've just put a question there in the chat. I'd love for the teachers that are with us on the call just to, maybe without overthinking, just put in the comments what you would like to achieve by the end of 2026, or in the middle of 2026, or after term 1 of 2026. Just put it in the chat. Let's have a look and see before we move on to growth, which is Leandri's topic. So Sumaya, and by the way, hi everybody for joining. It's Crystal, Brenda, Shamima, and Sumaya, I can see. Sumaya says, I registered myself for an advanced diploma, so my goal is to succeed and pass with outstanding results. I will need to learn how to balance teaching. If you find the recipe for balancing teaching, family life, and studying, Sumaya, please will you let us know? Because I think that is still a work in progress for all of us, is balance.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know
Go
what
ahead.
I found that if it's important to you, and if it's really a goal, you will make the time, and you will set that, and you will find that balance, because it's really something that you're committed to, and that
That's
you really
important
want to
to
do.
you.
And if your whole household get involved and they help you, and they help you cook or clean or whatever the chores are that you're not going to have time for, because at the end it's for everyone's benefit. So
I
it's
think
nice
in
to get everyone involved. And like I say, if you get the whole family or the people around you
I like that
involved,
idea.
yeah, then you can teach your kids so many activities and so many things, life lessons as well.
Yeah.
I think you already took the biggest step, and that is enrolling
Yes.
for it. So
Yes,
you're
that's
in it already.
amazing.
You're in it already, so you can just go for it. When you blink your eyes, we are in November of next year, and you are done.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And Crystal says, I really want to network more in 2026 and attend more workshops that aim at self-improvement. So Crystal, I'll join you. I also want to network more. So you and I can attend those workshops together, okay? If you see one and you want to go, please invite me. And if I see one and I want to go, I will invite you, okay? So we can do that together. Because networking is something that I don't find very easy, but I do need to step out of my comfort zone and out of my office a little bit more. So
that can be a goal for you. Yeah.
But keep sharing, guys, keep sharing. If you're brave enough to share a goal, please go ahead. We're going to move on to Leandri's topic now. She's going to talk about growth. And my word, Leandri, talk about growth and how you've stepped from teaching grade 1s to now teaching people who are teaching grade 1s.
Yeah,
amazing.
no, I mean that was a dream of mine. Lecturing was a dream of mine. I always thought, I'm only going to achieve this when I'm a little bit older, and I first have to get my PhD. And I had all of this whole checklist of what I need to achieve. And I literally took the opportunity when it was presented, and I believed in myself. And now I'm there, so I'm really enjoying it. But yes, with growth, as Rianda also said, we listened to the podcast of Mel Robbins. Is it Robinson? Robbins?
I'm not sure.
Mel Robbins last year.
Yeah.
And Philippa said to us, okay, at the beginning of this year, we're all going to have a meeting, and we are going to set out our goals for the year. And at the end of the year, we're going to check whether we've reached those goals. And I must be honest, I don't think I worked for 1 second on any of those goals that we set out in the beginning, because we start the year, and it's amazing to see how people are so drained and tired by the end of the year in December. And then a few weeks of holiday, when January starts, then we all have new energy and we believe in ourselves and we set out these goals. But with the new year's resolutions that everyone sets out for themselves, I'd say that only 8 to 9% of people actually achieve them. So Rianda and Philippa, did you do any of your goals? Did you achieve any of your goals that we set out in the beginning
I
of the year?
don't even remember what those were.
I've
Exactly.
written them all down.
Exactly. So it links very well to Rianda's thing. So this year, when we meet in January again, then we are going to look at Rianda's 10 steps and the SMART goals. We are going to be more proactive in doing this.
Yeah.
But saying that we believe in ourselves in January, when in each year we believe in ourselves. We say, okay, this is a new year, it's a new beginning. And we want to achieve certain things. Whether we feel it's possible or impossible, we set out those goals for ourselves. But with that, a lot of growth needs to take place. Otherwise, we would have already achieved those goals. So without setting a proper goal and having a plan, as Rianda said, part of that plan is a lot of growth. So it's a lot of introspection. It's a lot of change to yourself. It's a lot of change in your routine. It's a lot of change in your work environment. For me, as Philippa just said, like I started off as a grade 1 teacher, did my master's degree, and now I'm lecturing at the university. So it was a dream of mine. It wasn't a goal. When we moved to PE, it became a little bit more achievable for me, or more tangible. I could get to that point. But a lot of change had to happen within myself. So a lot of growth had to happen. So I had to study further. I had to do more. Like Sumaya, it's Sumaya who said she's going to study further now, right? When you study, when you take that first step, a lot of growth is going to happen. And it's sometimes very uncomfortable. Growth is not always easy. It's not always something that we see as big changes. It's not always something that we see as little changes. Sometimes all these little small things happen throughout the year that's a little bit uncomfortable, and it shapes you a little bit. And you don't really notice it until you look back at something, and then you see, okay, I've actually come much further, or my growth has changed into something that I didn't even knew I could achieve, or knew that I could get to.
That's true.
So the 4 things that we see in growth, and that there's so many more. I was thinking about this presentation. I was like, I can continue and I can talk about all types of growth in your professional field, financial field, family field, all of that. But for personal growth, we look at physical, cognitive, intellectual growth, emotional growth, and social growth. So physical, we don't see physical growth much as adults anymore. Yes, we do see aging, and we do see that we may be maturing in some senses a little bit. But the physical growth, we see a lot more when you work with little kids. So if you have the privilege to work with, let's say, a grade 1 child, those little kids coming into your class in January versus the little learners leaving your class in December, you could actually see the physical growth happening. And lucky for us, we are in the field where we can develop growth. We can stimulate growth, especially with physical growth. So we look at development, perceptual development. We look at changes in the brain, including your motor skills, perceptual skills, everything. There's a lot with regards to physical development that happens. But personally, for you as a teacher, physical development or physical growth doesn't really happen, except if you're going to put a goal to lose a lot of weight, or to get fit, or to start swimming, or whatever. Then we see the physical growth. But that's not the one that I want to stop at today. So cognitive and intellectual growth. I've got my notes here on my laptop, so let me just quickly look here. So physical or cognitive and intellectual growth is a little bit more challenging for us. As you get older, it's more difficult to start studying because you've got family life. You have to manage a lot of things. You have to juggle work, as Philippa said, work life, family life, and studying. But it's really amazing if we can still challenge our brains to grow into a what do you call it, like a place where learning and attention and memory still takes place, because we can very easily just get to a place where
we don't move forward. We just stay in the same.
Stuck. So getting to a cognitive and intellectual growth is very important, because it has a very large effect on your thinking and reasoning abilities, and that is part of growth. So how do you you address something that's uncomfortable? How do you cope in an environment where your words matter quite a lot? So you have to think about what you're saying and what you're doing. That links to emotional growth. How resilient are you? So how do you interpret information and situations? That is all these aspects where growth takes place. So growth cannot take place if we are stuck. So we need to accept challenges, and we need to move forward by achieving certain goals, by setting out problem-solving moments for ourselves. So we have to you have to put yourself in a situation where problem-solving is still very evident. We have to think and challenge your cognitive abilities. That is where studying is a very good thing. Attending workshops, putting yourself in situations where you can learn something new. Okay, so that is your cognitive and your intellectual growth. With cognitive and intellectual growth, we see emotional growth and social growth as well. But emotional growth is very much how you respond to things. So we all in a situation where we feel uncomfortable, you would either anticipate what you're going to say. So you create this whole situation in your mind, and you already anticipate how you're going to respond. And then when you get there, it's not what you thought, and then you're completely confused and you don't know how to respond, and then you respond on your first instinct. So emotional growth comes to the point where we really need to almost be self-aware of what we do and what we want and how we respond and how we think about something and how we interpret situations. So if something happens that's uncomfortable, to rather not respond, but to think about it and then self-reflect afterwards on what would have been the better way to respond, or what should I have done in this situation, instead of reacting and almost blocking yourself from growth. So it's always important to go back and to think of what you said and think of what you've done. And the same with the little learners in your class. So give them the opportunity and the space to respond and then to reflect on what they have done, instead of you or another teacher or a parent telling them what they have done wrong. It's important for growth, for them to self-realize where I could have changed and how the outcome would have changed depending on the response that I've given. Okay, and then social growth. Again, this is for the little learners in your class and for yourself. Social growth is important for me as a parent now of a little one, to surround myself with people that's positive, but also to respond effectively and gracious in social settings where I don't feel comfortable, to show my child, you know what, okay, we don't agree with this, but we don't have to make a scene or be rude or anything. We just exclude ourselves, and that's fine, you know. To put yourself in situations where communication is going to be a challenge. So for me, lecturing university classes, sometimes my Afrikaans brain is very Afrikaans. So I just can't switch over to English. And sometimes it happens when we do the webinars as well. So I'm very stuck on Afrikaans words, and then that communication challenge. But it's a good thing for me, because I see how the learners, and like Philippa did just now before, how they just support and they listen and they say, oh, this is what you're trying to say. So, you know, growth keeps on taking place in social settings as well. And for my students, they see, okay, she's still a human. She's not always perfect. And that's fine. That's the same with you in your classroom. Children should see, this is what my teacher did. And it's fine. She was okay after that. And this is how we respond to a bully, or this is how we respond to negative comments, or this is how we respond to uncomfortable social situation. And this is where growth takes place, is when we are challenged in many different ways. And also to stand firm and to say, you know what, I know everyone is saying yes to something, but I feel uncomfortable, and that's okay, and I'm going to voice my opinion in a respectful manner and go on. So yes, all this growth, it's very important for you as a teacher, because that growth is part of your professional development, because you are the person teaching children. So your career is very much dependent on who you are and your way of thinking and communicating and interacting with other people, because the little learners, they look at you as a role model. So it's very important for you to keep on growing and to keep on making mistakes and be gracious to yourself. You can go to the next one, Philippa, then I'm quickly going to talk about the pillars of personal growth. So self-regulation and reflection is very important. Self-awareness is very important. I think after situations had happened, and after sometimes we feel stuck and you think, okay, I've worked hard and I felt that I've worked hard for something, and then I'm not achieving it, or someone else is getting it, to go back and reflect and see, where can I change instead of how the situation should change. Where can I improve? What can I take out of this? How can I change my situation? How could I have changed the outcome of whatever I am aiming towards? Goal setting, as Rianda said, I'm not going to go into detail with that. Goal setting, very important. We can't grow without having goals, so we have to work towards something specific. Continuous learning, again, challenge yourself. Enroll for that thing that you said you're going to do for the past 5 to 10 years. Just do it. Take the chance on yourself. Sometimes if you take chances on yourself, that is when the most growth takes place, because if you are the biggest believer of yourself, then you can actually achieve more than you can think. Action and adaptability, where growth takes place here is where we go into action and we adapt as we go. So we don't always have to have a clear plan on how the outcome should look like, ideally, but as we enter something and we've got our goals and we work towards our goals, it is easier to adapt as we are going through it, and to analyze the situation. And then a positive outlook. Let's talk about a growth mindset. So what do you do in the mornings when you wake up? Do you grab your phone? What do you do? I mean, if you can change that little thing to doing something positive, the first thing when you wake up, you open up your eyes, don't grab your phone and start reading all the bad news that had happened during the night or yesterday, and feed your brain that negative input. Go and do something positive. Read a motivational thing. If you're religious, read a Bible story or a Bible verse. Paste something on your wall, positive attributes about yourself, and read that back to you. It's actually a very, very powerful thing, and very necessary for growth, is to see, okay, this is all my negative aspects, yes, and this is how I could have changed, but this is also all my positives, and this is how I see myself, how I'm going to carry myself, and this is how I'm believing in myself. So to go forward with that. And then the next one, so how do we go adopt a growth mindset? So growth mindset, we've done growth and fixed mindset before. Growth mindset, we are working towards a certain goal and we are moving forward and we are going to be positive about it, but we are also willing to change and adapt as we go. To give ourselves grace when we make mistakes. Same with the little learners in your class as well. It does not matter how many times you've said something. If they make a mistake or you make a mistake and you knew better, give yourself that grace. It's okay. No one is perfect and no one is measuring anyone to someone else. That's something that we as humans do, and it's very natural and normal, is to measure yourself to other people. But try to change that in the new year. Try to see where you are at and where you want to get to, and measure yourself to yourself instead of measuring yourself to other people in your environment. Accept feedback, and that is a very difficult thing for everyone to do. It's not nice giving your best and trying your best and giving everything you have and working very hard, and you feel that you could not do much more, and you receive one negative feedback. So try to take negative feedback as self-reflection. Get your self-awareness, place yourself again in that situation, go think about it, actively think about situations and see where you could grow to respond better next time. And then know yourself and your strengths versus your limits. So little small steps in growth is almost bigger growth than big leaps of growth at once, if that makes sense. So set out your goals step for step, as Rianda said. Reach those goals, see the growth that's taking place when you reach those goals, and don't set out things that's so beyond your reach that you are bound to fail. every time, again and again and again. So rather break it down into little pieces. Tap into your strengths. Same for your little learners. If you've got a child in your class who's really struggling, go and see what assets they have, what strengths do they have, and use that to create a positive outcome. So yes, growth. I can speak a lot about growth. We can go on and on and on and on. But I think growth will take place throughout the year. If I have to reflect on my year or the past 5 years, definitely growth has taken place, even if I did not realize it. So looking back, then you can easily see, okay, this is what had happened, this is what had happened, and this is where I've grown as a person. This is where I've grown in my professional career. And it's easier to reflect back and to see the growth and to be positive about what's to come. Yeah.
I think growth is inevitable with goals. You can't have goals and not have growth, and you can't really grow without having goals. So I think the two are hand in hand. So I think Sumaya's, she says growth incoming for 2026. I will be heading up the newsletter club at school. So that's a big for me, and I look forward to the new challenge. Well, there's a growth mindset right there, take it on. Like, what have you got to lose? So I love that. And Rianda, I got the challenge to not say anything negative about myself for a whole week. Good for you. And how did you do?
I am at day 3, and I'm at day 3. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Good.
But you know how difficult it is. But it's wonderful.
Good.
It's such a nice way, and it's such a small goal, but it's such a big goal. So it binds with everything that we've been saying for this whole time.
Yeah, we need to give ourselves grace, as Leandri says. Yes. I know you need to off, Leandri, so thanks so much. You've got another meeting, so off you go then. And have a good holiday. We'll see you soon. And so we're going to move on then to grit, the grit section. And again, I'm going to reference a TED talk that I listened to, about 10 years ago. And this lady is still talking about grit. Her name is Dr. Angela Duckworth. She's a psychologist, and she has basically done studies on successful people and what makes people good at what they do, what makes them successful in what they do. And she has studied top athletes. She has studied CEOs at the top of their game. She has studied big achievers. And honestly, what it boils down to is that grit is when you have passion for something, when you have perseverance, and you stick it out for the long haul. It's not a race. I mean, it's not a sprint. It's not a race, it's a sprint or something like that, whatever. It's basically sticking with something and not giving up. Whether you have a talent, and you're wanting to develop that talent, it's about how much effort you put in to develop that skill that you need. She says it's not linked to IQ, so it's got nothing to do with how intelligent you are or how it's really how badly you want to achieve it and how hard you feel you want to push yourself. So it's not fixed. It's something that can change over time. The more you work at it, the more you practice it, the better you get. And she talks about these 4 key components, with number 1 being, if you stick at something, it's because you're interested in it. So you're not going to stick with something that you don't enjoy, right? If I wanted to learn the violin, I tell you now, if I try to learn the violin, I don't think I would last longer than 1 or 2 days. But if I really wanted to do something that I was passionate about, I would stick to it because it's an interest of mine. So it's finding that interest and then sticking with it over time. That's the first thing. And when you think you're interested in something, how do you taste that? Well, just go do it. Right? Just go do that thing that you're interested in. And if you enjoy it, then stick with it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. Like if you want to attend a hip hop class and you're not too sure whether it's something that you're going to enjoy, how will you know? Well, go to the class. and see how you feel at the end of it. If it frustrates you and you hated it, then you've tried it. So, give it a try. Then number 2, the second one is that it requires practice. It requires ongoing drilling and practicing and showing up even when you don't feel like being there. Okay, how many times do we wake up for school and we don't feel like being there? And then when we get there, we actually enjoy the day. Sometimes you don't feel like it, but you still get up and do it. You show up time and time again, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're not feeling well, even when there's chaos in your personal life, even if the principal is giving you a hard time, even if you've got reports coming out of your ears, you still get up and go to school, even when it's hard. Then number 3 is there must be a purpose or calling. So again, I always go back to teachers. We don't do this for money. We do this because we want to make a difference. We want to see how we can solve problems. We want to try and help kids who struggle with learning. We want to try and understand how children learn and how they are curious about things. We want to try and understand and tap into that curiosity. It's a purpose or a calling versus a job, right? So that's the third thing. And then the fourth thing is you building up hope that what you are doing, even the small things that you are doing, have a long-term impact. You know that when you work with a child, you don't see the day-to-day wins, but at the end of the year, you see how they've grown and how they've developed. So it's all about those small wins. So the 4 things is interest, practice, purpose, and hope. Building hope through small wins and environmental control. And environmental control really boils down to, well, what does your classroom look like? Okay, the environmental control is what the culture or what the atmosphere is in your class. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about grit within ourselves as teachers, but we also see grit in the children that we teach. The children who really, really struggle to learn, the children who, again, get up and go to school every day, even though it's hard, and they have to sometimes work 2 times, 3 times harder than the more academically strong children. And we see that grit. So when we talk about grit, let's just also talk about grit in kids and the students that we teach, the learners that we teach. So if we look at our calling as educators, plus that endurance that I spoke about, plus wanting justice for learners with barriers. So for me, again, I'm an advocate for children with special needs, right? I want every child to have an equal opportunity. Every child deserves to feel that they can. That's justice for learners with barriers. So it's the calling, it's that sustained effort every day, pitching up, trying your best, and then hopefully seeing the growth in the children that we teach and the growth within ourselves. We know that grit grows in a supportive, structured environment. So it comes down to your classroom again. If learners feel that they can fail and they can get up and try again, and they can fail and get up and try again, and they can fail and get up and try again, and it's okay. And as adults, we can also fail, fall down, get up again, fail, fall down, get up again. We learn together, we laugh together, we cry together, we fail together, we succeed together. That it's part of humanity to be able to learn as we go along. So make sure that your environment, your classroom is supported and structured. And when you experience those small wins, celebrate. When they experience small wins, celebrate. Because it's so important to have that sort of contagious, wow, look how hard you worked, no matter what the result was. But look how hard you worked. Look at the effort you put in. That should count more than what the result was at the end of the day. It was the effort, that sustained effort. When you see the small little wins, it's a big celebration. We said that teaching requires grit. Of course it does. I'm sure you've heard of Simon Sinek. He also has a TED talk called Start With Why. And it also talks about your interest, your purpose, your passion, and your calling in order to solve the problems of the world, making a difference in the world. Looking at those 4 aspects again of grit: interest, practice, purpose, and the hope that what you are doing will achieve something at the end of the day. And then the last slide is just this picture of Simon Sinek. I'm sure often you've been at a function or you've met somebody and they go, "So what is it that you do?" And immediately we go, "Well, I'm a teacher." Okay, but what do you do? What do you do? Right? You say, "I'm a teacher," but why do you teach? So looking at his Start With Why. Start with the center circle there. Why do you want to teach? Why do you teach? What's the purpose? And then how do you do it? How do you teach? And then you talk about what do you do? So start with why in the middle. If you Google Simon Sinek, you'll see that very famous talk that he spoke about. Start with why. Why do we do what we do? And then in the learners that you teach, how to grow grit. I think children automatically have grit. I think they generally want to do well. The grit for me tends to dissipate when they don't feel supported. They tend to give up when they haven't received those words of encouragement or that praise, or they feel if they fail, you're not going to like them anymore, or if they don't do well, their parents are not going to, be interested in their learning anymore or whatever. So when you grow grit in your classroom, it's all about celebrating those small wins, praising the effort, no matter how small. It's just amazing that they actually put one foot in front of the other and they tried. Having a classroom with structure, I think, is very important, because that structure creates the safety for them to be able to experiment and be curious and learn. And it gives them that sense of, I'll be fine because ma'am has created this wonderful learning environment for me to develop myself. And how do you strengthen the grit? When you break down instructions so that instructions can easily be followed. We're very quick as teachers to give out 10 instructions in a row, right? Because we've got so much that we need to get through. But we sometimes forget that some children are only on the first instruction when you've already gone through all 10. That's how slow their processing might be. And it's not that they can't do it. It's just that they might be slower than everyone else. So just to be aware of small, concise, clear instructions, praise that effort that the kids put in. You can see how hard they're trying. It's fine to fail because we are learning as we go. So failure is also information. If as a teacher you present a lesson and then you assess and the whole class basically flunks, that should be an information. Hello, what have I done wrong? My lesson clearly wasn't very well done because all the children didn't do well. That's information. But if you prepare the lesson and then you give the lesson and then you assess the lesson and 1 or 2 kids don't do well, that's also information. That's information to say, well, everyone else coped well, but these 2, I know these 2 need a little bit more intervention or consolidation. So look at that feedback that you get from your lessons. And then we learn together. We learn together. We flunk together. We fail together. We succeed together. We laugh together. We celebrate together. We are human, and we want to be able to embrace all types of brains. Neurodiversity is something to be celebrated in your class. And then just 3 practical tools. I need to say Delia. Angela Duckworth speaks about the fact that effort should count twice. So looking at consistency versus excellence, if you can see the child trying, that should count twice rather than excellence, the result being a brilliant report or something like that. We want to encourage kids to try and to be consistently putting in the effort all the time. The power of yet, we often say to the kids, oh, you don't know that word yet. Or I see you haven't quite grasped that concept yet. It means that it's not that they're never going to do it, it's just that they haven't grasped it yet. So use yet at the end of your sentences to say that there's still the possibility of growth. There's still the possibility of them achieving that, whatever it is. And then the hard thing rule, she speaks about getting our children or our learners or ourselves to choose one hard thing and try and stick with it. So if you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to run a marathon by the end of the year. So I want to run a 42K by the end of the year. That's your hard thing. And if after 2 weeks of running, you say, oh, this is terrible, I hate this, I'm going to stop. Rather go and instead of running that marathon in June, say, well, I'm going to run it at the end of the year. So just push the goal back, but keep at it and stick with it. And that's the hard thing rule. So make sure you push yourself out of a comfort zone, choose one hard thing and make it a simple decision and stick with it. Just keep pushing the goalposts further and further and further if you're not achieving it when you want to, rather than stop. Rather just stick to it and make sure that it's something that you want to achieve. You're not doing it for someone else. It's got to be something that you want to do. All right, and I think that is it. So maybe in the comments, pop in the comments if you think that grit, or where you possibly have seen grit, a child or a colleague at school, or maybe you, where you have seen grit on a day-to-day basis. I think children for me, like I said earlier, children for me are naturally little people that have this grit. They just don't give up no matter what. They just keep on trying. And I think that's also a lesson for us as adults, that, you know, we try and try again. That consistency, that perseverance, that sustained practice all the time you will achieve it eventually. It's just a matter of time. So Samaya, a couple of my learners showed tremendous growth this year. Yeah, I think so many of the learners who really struggle academically, but they just put their heads down and they just never give up. And it's that effort that counts twice. It should count double for kids who find learning difficult. Yeah. Then I'm just conscious of time, so we will have questions. So while I'm talking about education services and who we are and what we do, please pop in the chat. Possibly think of something that you would need a webinar about. So one of the things that we do, besides this file, which we keep adding resources to, so this resource file is a Google Drive that has folders in it, and each folder is a specific area of need. So we've created one for ADHD, we've created one for dyslexia, we've created one for autism, and we keep adding resources that we find amazing. So please take your phones and scan that little QR code. It basically gives you access to this resource file, and it is free for you to use. We're updating it all the time. We're keeping adding to things that we find. If we find something amazing, between Rianda and Leandri and myself, we always share. So we keep adding to that folder. So please go ahead and scan that QR code. It takes you to that folder. You can pop it into your drive, and by all means share it with your colleagues at work as well. So please go ahead and do that. And then what I was saying was, if you have a specific topic For next year, we're planning our 2026 webinars. As I said, we do a webinar every month, and they are absolutely free. We don't charge for those. We want to connect with teachers. We want to be able to get together with teachers and support wherever we can. So think about what you need help with for 2026. What area do you need help with? How can we help you? Can we create a webinar for you? Can we find resources for you? Our education services is all about support. Where can we support you in your classroom? And then what does your school need? So again, do you need more help with your school's social media? Do you need help with your school's staff development? Do you need help with integrating AI in the classroom? We are developing little departments underneath education services where we can you can outsource your stuff that the school is struggling with to us and let us take it on for you. Whether it's marketing, whether it's parenting classes, whether it's mental health for teachers, mentoring, anything like that. If there's something specific that you need help with, pop it in the comments. If your school needs help, maybe your school needs help with fundraising. Maybe your school needs help with coordinating events. You know, what are those bugbear responsibilities that you would rather delegate? Think about those. If you need to run now, by all means, maybe you can email me if something occurs to you in the middle of the night. You know what happens when you wake up in the middle of in the night and you've remembered something. You can then pop an email into me and say, please, can you do a webinar on PAD, or please, can you do an email on autism, or whatever it is. Shamina, I hope you're all well. I'm very passionate about learners with barriers. I'd like to do some teacher development with our staff, but really don't know how to start. Shamima, we must talk. Please, will you pop me a mail? I've got lots of ideas. So let's put our heads together. So that is it, guys. On the button, 7 o'clock. So that's amazing. I normally run a little bit over time because I can never stop talking. But thank you for joining us. Honestly, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you've had a good 2025. I hope you have a fantastic break. It's Minda now. I think the countdown has begun. Some schools are finishing next Friday, some the following Friday. If you've already finished, lucky you. All the best, all the best, all the best for the year ahead. And thank you for joining us. Please spread the word about education services so that we can help you. Please have a look at that file. Make a copy of that and share it far and wide. We don't charge for our services. They are absolutely free, and we want to help. So thank you very much. I hope it's been a good evening. Please go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll see you next year, 2026. Let's do this. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Shamima. Thanks, Sharice. Please be in touch with us if you need anything. Bye now.